What's going through your mind in these past few weeks, especially this past week? Do you find yourself asking, where is the love and the peace and the justice and the decency of the human race? Do you find yourself looking for God and asking, where is He in the midst of all of this? Or how can I find Him? Where do I look for God? Although there is a lot of chaos around us in these previous weeks, especially this past week, do you find yourself desperately searching for God? But there have been glimpses of God in the moments of chaos. Glimpses of police officers and protesters coming together in solidarity. Glimpses of peaceful protesters telling violent protesters to stop the looting. There's been glimpses of God even in our local community, where this past week, right behind me, over 80 people gathered to spend time with God in Eucharistic adoration on a Monday night. And what is it that these people see in God that so many people do not? And why is it that they are willing to spend time with God while so many want nothing to do with Him? The hopelessness of this past week has reminded me of a true story of a family living in Armenia in the 1980s. And the son's name is Adnan. And Adnan and his father had a great relationship. Every single day, Adnan's father would drop his son, a second grader, off at school, and he would pick him up after school. And there was moments where, as a first grader and a second grader, Adnan would say to his dad, are you going to pick me up at the end of the day? And he might cry if his dad would say, I'm not sure if I'm going to be there. But every single time that Adnan worried, his father would get real serious and say, Adnan, I'm your father. I love you more than anything, and I'll always be there for you. One day in 1988, in December, the day started as it usually did, and Adnan was dropped off at school. And around 11:30 a.m., a massive earthquake struck Armenia. And as you can imagine, parents hopped in their cars, drove right to the school to make sure their kids were okay. And when Adnan's father got to the school, he saw a school of complete rubble, a school that had been destroyed by the earthquake, and a scene of parents crying for their kids who now they had said were gone. And Adnan's father started going into the rubble and literally digging and pulling away masonry, searching for his son, yelling Adnan's name. And he searched for 4 hours, turned to 12 hours, turned to 18 hours. And he's searching every single part of the school. After 24 hours, Adnan's father gets to one of the last parts of the school. And as he digs and digs and digs and screams his son's name, he sees a hole in the masonry. And as the dust settles, he hears a voice. I told you my dad would come and find us. Adnan had been found by his father, and Adnan during this whole time has been telling his friend underneath this archway in the building that my dad is gonna come find us, that my dad has told me he'll always be there for me. And Adnan is pulled out of the rubble with his friend. And I think so many times, if you think about the friend of Adnan, we are like him. Adnan's friend was hopeless. He was saying to Adnan, no one's coming for us. We're dead. Your dad's not looking for us. That we have to be like Adnan, that in these chaotic times and in this time of somewhat hopelessness, we tell the people around us, God is looking for us. He's calling us by name. He's always there for us. Let us be like Adnan. Let us tell everyone that we know, everyone that we are close with, that God is searching for us. How will we respond? That in the end, God is calling you by name. And ultimately, like Adnan and his friend, we are saved.